Hello everyone, welcome to English on Friday the 29th of January. Today we are learning to sequence events from a story as it's being read out loud. And to be successful today, we want to be able to sequence events from our story on Sudden Hill as it's read out loud. But we're not going to look at the pictures as we do this. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we are going to listen to the whole story of On Sudden Hill from start to finish, and we are going to be able to look at the pictures as we do so. As we listen and look at the story, I want you children to listen and look very, very carefully at what happens. I want you to think about what important events happen at the beginning of the story, what important events happen in the middle of the story, and what important events happen at the end of the story. Because later in your activity, in your challenge, you are going to have some pictures. I think you have 6 pictures from the story that are in a jumble, and you have to put them in the right order of what happens first, what happens next, what happens in the middle, and what happens at the end. So first of all, let's look, watch, listen, and think about what happens in the story together. Now, if we're at school, I'm going to read the story to the children at school. If you're at home, then you can open the link to hear a lovely lady read it to you. Now, remember, to get to the links, you have to open the PowerPoint, which is available on the Sway. So I'll read the story to the children. You open the PowerPoint and listen to the whole story first. You can look at it, you can listen to it, but remember thinking about those important events that happen at the beginning, the middle, and the end. Off you go, and I'll see you in a minute. Oh, I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope you listened out and really thought about what happens at the beginning, the middle, and the end of On Sudden Hill. Now, this time our challenge is getting harder. This time at school, I am going to read the story out loud again to the children in the class. But I'm going to be a bit sneaky. I am not going to let the children see the pictures of the storybook. They are only going to hear my voice read the story. And if you are at home, children, doing your learning at home, you can listen to the story again online, but you're not allowed to look at the pictures on the computer, on the laptop, on your tablet, or on the phone. You can only use your ears to listen. So no looking, no peeping this time. Turn around. Take the screen away, just using your listening. Now, before we begin doing this, what I want you to do, what my children will have at school is, from the resources for today's English, which you will find on Sway, there is a Word document that has 6 important pictures from the story. 2 are from the beginning, 2 are from the middle, and 2 are from the end of the story. I'd like you to quickly spend a minute cutting them out, having them in front of you. And same at home, if you have access to the printer, by all means print them out, cut them out. If you don't have access to a printer, please don't worry. You can just open them up, have a little look on your computer and talk about them, refer to them. Because this time, as we listen to the story only with our ears, no peeping with our eyes, I want you, as we read the story, the beginning part, to look at your pictures and think, which 2 of my 6 pictures happens at the beginning of the story? And put them in the right order. Which one happens at the beginning? Which one happens next? There are two beginning pictures, but one happens at the very start, one happens next. Sequence them in front of you as you listen to the story being read either by me if you're at school or by the lovely lady reading it to you online. Keep going with this as you hear the middle part of the story. There are two middle events. Which one happens first in the middle? Which one happens next? So you're sequencing your pictures in a line in front of you. And repeat this for the end of the story. So you have a long line of story sequence pictures in front of you that should give you an overview of what happens on Sudden Hill, of the main events from the beginning to the end. And if you're at home and you haven't been able to print out the pictures, please don't worry. You can just look at them on screen on the document and discuss them together. So here are the pictures. Hopefully you were either able to look at them or to print them out. So there were five. So 5 altogether. So hopefully you've sequenced them from the very beginning to the very end. Now that you've sequenced them, if you were able to print them out, then you can stick them in your book from beginning through to the very end. And we don't require you to do any writing at this point. We just like you to tell the story in your own words, speaking out loud in full sentences by looking at the cards you've sequenced, and retell the story in your own words so that the story makes sense. Maybe try and use some story language as you do this. So, for example, for your first picture, you could say, once upon a time, there were two best friends called Bert and Etho, and they loved to play on Sudden Hill. Later on, another little boy came to play with them. He was called Shoe. And once you get to the end, maybe you could think of some story language that we hear in storybooks to end your story. But you don't need to tell it in exactly the same words as the storybook. Try and use your own full sentences to tell the main parts of the story. Now, if you'd like to fly high today, as I said, retell the story using the cards that you sequenced to help you in your own words, speaking in full sentences, making sure your story makes sense from beginning to end, and really try to use some interesting language, some story language, some story words. And if you could put in some words to tell us how the characters are feeling, or some adjectives, some describing words to make your sentences interesting, that would be fantastic. And also maybe some conjunctions to extend your sentences, like and because. Let's reflect. Have we been successful today? Remember what we were learning was to sequence events from a story that was read aloud. And we wanted to see if you could sequence events from On Sudden Hill as it was read aloud to you, not just by listening, not just by relying on looking at the pictures, by using your listening skills. So if you achieved that, well done. And then if you were able to retell the story in your own words, super well done to you. You've been successful today. We'd love to share your learning with us. It makes our day to see the activities you've been up to. So you can share your learning with us at parentsupport@shepherdswell.emat.uk and make our day. Share your work with us. We love it. And remember, keep being brave, keep learning, keep trying your best. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Take care.